The Story King. Too bruised to stand, she collapsed at the trial, and the Alpha King caught her when no one else did. The courtroom fell silent the moment she stumbled through the doors, her appearance so shocking that even the court scribe's quill froze mid-stroke. Elara Thorne had been beautiful once. Everyone remembered. The daughter of the disgraced beta commander, she'd had midnight hair that cascaded like silk and eyes the color of winter storms. But the woman who now gripped the doorframe for support was a shadow wrapped in torn fabric, her face a canvas of purple bruises, her split lips still weeping fresh blood, and her left eye swollen nearly shut. "The accused will approach the bench," High Judge Morrigan announced, her voice cutting through the shocked whispers like a blade. Elara tried to move forward, but her legs trembled violently. 3 weeks in the Silver Keep dungeons, 3 weeks of interrogation, of enhanced questioning, of cold stone floors and colder mercy, had reduced her body to something that barely functioned. Each breath felt like swallowing glass. Her ribs, at least 2 of them broken, screamed with every shallow inhale. From his throne at the far end of the courtroom, Alpha King Theron Nightshade watched with eyes like molten gold. He hadn't moved since she'd entered, but something flickered across his face, something that vanished so quickly she thought she'd imagined it. "I said approach," Morrigan repeated, irritation sharpening her tone. Elara forced 1 foot forward, then another. The room spun dangerously. Black spots danced at the edges of her vision. She could feel hundreds of eyes on her, nobles in their fine silks, soldiers in gleaming armor, commoners packed into the gallery. All of them waiting to watch her fall, waiting to see justice served. Justice. The word tasted like ash. "Elara Thorne," Morrigan began, unrolling a scroll, "you stand accused of high treason against the crown. It is alleged that you conspired with the rebel faction known as the Silver Daggers to assassinate Alpha King Theron Nightshade during the Harvest Moon ceremony. How do you plead?" The words echoed strangely in Elara's ears. She opened her mouth to speak, but nothing came out except a strangled sound. Her tongue was too thick, her throat too dry. "The accused will answer," Morrigan snapped. "I." Elara's voice cracked. "Not guilty." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Someone in the gallery shouted, "Liar." Another voice joined, "Traitor's daughter." The room tilted sharply to the left. Elara's knees buckled. She would have hit the marble floor face first if not for the impossible speed with which the Alpha King moved. One moment he was seated on his throne, expression unreadable. The next, he was there, his arms catching her before she could fall, one hand cradling her head with surprising gentleness. The courtroom erupted into chaos. "Your Majesty," Morrigan gasped, rising from her seat. "Stand back," Theron commanded, his voice a low growl that silenced everyone instantly. His alpha authority rolled through the room like thunder, and every wolf present, including the High Judge, felt their necks instinctively bow. Elara's consciousness flickered. She was dimly aware of being held against something warm and solid, of a heartbeat that thrummed steady and strong beneath her ear. The scent that enveloped her was cedar and night rain, the unmistakable scent of the Alpha King himself. "Get the healer," Theron ordered, his jaw clenched so tight the muscle jumped. "Now, Your Majesty," Morrigan protested weakly, "the trial is postponed." His eyes flashed dangerously. "Or would you prefer I hold court over a corpse?" Guards scrambled to obey. Theron shifted his grip, lifting Elara as though she weighed nothing, cradling her against his chest. She tried to push away, some desperate instinct screaming that she shouldn't accept comfort from the very man she was accused of trying to kill, but her body refused to cooperate. "Don't," he said quietly, for her ears alone. His voice had lost its sharp edge, replaced by something that almost sounded like concern. "You'll hurt yourself worse." "Why?" Elara managed to whisper, her good eye struggling to focus on his face. This close, she could see the scar that ran along his jaw, the flecks of amber in his golden irises. "Why are you saving your life?" His mouth twisted into something that wasn't quite a smile. "Perhaps I prefer my accused traitors conscious for their trials. Or perhaps," he paused, something unreadable passing through his expression. Perhaps I'm not convinced you're guilty. The words struck her like a physical blow. Not convinced, but the evidence against her was overwhelming. Her father's journal found in her possession, detailed plans for the assassination written in what experts swore was her handwriting, witnesses who placed her at clandestine meetings with known rebels. She'd been doomed from the moment the king's guard dragged her from her bed. Thorne carried her through corridors that blurred together, his steps sure and swift. She caught glimpses of shocked faces, heard whispered conversations die as they passed. The Alpha King didn't carry prisoners. The Alpha King didn't show mercy to traitors. And yet here she was, held in arms that should have been her executioners. He took her to a room she didn't recognize, not the dungeons, not a holding cell. A bedchamber, lavishly appointed with silk curtains and a fireplace already crackling with warmth. He laid her carefully on the bed, and the softness of the mattress after 3 weeks on stone was so overwhelming that tears leaked from her swollen eye. "The healer will be here soon," Thorne said, stepping back. But he didn't leave. Instead, he stood at the foot of the bed, studying her with an intensity that made her skin prickle. "I don't understand," Elara whispered. Speaking hurt, breathing hurt, existing hurt. "Why would you help me?" "Because," Thorne said slowly, 3 weeks ago, someone did try to kill me at the Harvest Moon ceremony. An arrow, poisoned with wolfsbane, fired from the western gallery." His eyes never left hers. "You were in the Eastern Gardens at the time. I know because I saw you there myself." Elara's breath caught. "Then why didn't I stop your arrest?" His expression darkened. "Because I wanted to see who would move against you. Who would be so eager to see you accused, tried, and executed." He moved closer, his presence overwhelming. "Someone went to great lengths to frame you, Elara Thorne. Someone planted evidence, forged documents, paid witnesses. And I want to know who." The door burst open. An elderly woman rushed in, her healer's satchel already open. "Your Majesty, I came as quickly as—" She stopped short at the sight of Elara. "Goddess above, who did this to her?" "Your own interrogators did, Marjorie." Theron's voice was ice. "In my dungeons, under my authority." The healer's face paled. She hurried to the bedside, gentle hands already assessing damage. 3 weeks, you said. Broken ribs, definitely. This eye needs tending immediately. The cuts are infected. Your Majesty, she needs. Whatever she needs, provide it. Thorne turned toward the door, then paused. "And Marjorie, no one enters this room without my express permission. No one." "Of course, Your Majesty." As the healer began her work, Elara watched Theron's retreating back. Nothing made sense. The Alpha King was supposed to be ruthless, cold, a warrior who'd claimed his throne through strength and showed mercy to no one. She'd been prepared to face that man, to stand trial before him and accept her fate with what dignity she had left. She hadn't been prepared for this. The healer worked in efficient silence, applying salves that stung before they soothed, wrapping ribs, cleaning wounds. Elara drifted in and out of awareness, exhaustion and pain dragging her under. When she woke, the room was darker. The fire had burned low. And sitting in a chair beside her bed, his posture relaxed but his eyes alert, was the Alpha King. "You should rest," Thorne said when he noticed her watching him. "You're still here," she observed, her voice hoarse. "Someone tried very hard to destroy you." He leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "They used my court, my laws, my authority as weapons against you. That makes it personal. Or maybe I really am guilty," Elara said bitterly, "and you're being played by a traitor's lies." "No." The certainty in his voice was absolute. "I've ruled this kingdom for 10 years. I've interrogated countless prisoners, seen every type of deception. You're not lying." His eyes met hers. "You're terrified, you're broken, but you're not lying." Something cracked in Elara's chest, some wall she'd built to survive the dungeons, the torture, the certainty of her impending execution. A sob tore from her throat, then another. She couldn't stop them. Thorne moved without thinking, sitting on the edge of the bed. His hand found hers, careful of her bruised knuckles, and he simply held it while she wept. "I didn't do it," she gasped between sobs. "I swear, I didn't. My father, he made mistakes, but I'm not him. I would never." "I know." His thumb traced gentle circles on the back of her hand. "I know, Elara, and I'm going to prove it." She looked up at him through tears, this powerful king who held her broken hand like it was something precious. "Why do you care?" The question hung between them. Thorne was silent for a long moment, his expression unreadable. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. "Because when you collapsed in that courtroom, for one moment, I felt something I haven't felt in years." He met her gaze. "Fear, not for myself, for you." The confession settled over them like snow. Elara's breath caught. Outside, the wind howled against the windows. Inside, something fragile and new kindled in the space between a broken girl and the king who'd caught her when she fell. "Sleep now," Thorne said softly, releasing her hand and rising. "Tomorrow, we begin finding who really wants me dead." As darkness claimed her again, Elara's last thought was that perhaps justice, real justice, was possible after all. Even for the daughter of a traitor. Even in the arms of the Alpha King. The Story King, where every tale reigns supreme.